So page 169 in grammar. Another review. We are so close. Actually, technically, next Tuesday will be our last lesson in this book. And we will just focus on the writing part of the class, which is good because that'll give us a little bit more time and we can work together in class.
Isn't there Mad Libs too?
Yeah, the very last.
What if I said I already finished that?
That's all right. We'll still do it next week.
I got bored.
No worries. That's okay. All right, we're on, let's see, unnecessary commas. So this, it says using the list below, explain why the comma is wrong. Haha. And you can see all those marks of where they removed the commas in here. And then you got to figure out why. And there's your choices. There's one of each. So after you choose one of those, there won't be more, but look at the choices here. We've got MCCC second verb. There's no comma in that one. Remember the one we did before? It was like MC, comma, CC, MC. If you've got two main clauses together, separated by a conjunction, then you need a comma. But if it's only a second verb after that, no comma for that. If you just have two items, A and B, no comma, essential, who, which, meaning you can't take it out. You need it there to fully understand the sentence. That means it's essential. Remember when we talked about, I think we talked about it in this class, how the brain is essential, but the pinky is non-essential. So, obviously we can't live without our brain for sure. And but we can live without our pinky. It might hurt a little bit, but all right. Strong interjection, that's when it's like, watch out, or no way. That's when they, you know, interject something important. Cumulative. Cumulative, that's when you don't need commas. Hold on, cumulative, that's the dosa scomp, right? That's the dosa scomp, cumulative. Remember the order? But if they come from the same category, that's coordinate, and that's when you need a comma. If you have two adjectives from the same category, so these are going to be in an order, okay? And then the that clause, you don't need a comma for that. Number two, opener, if it's less than 5 words, you don't need a comma. Number three, opener modifies only the verb. That's the ly opener that modifies only the verb, not the whole sentence. If you have MC and then AC, no comma, and then before a prepositional phrase, you don't need a comma before that. Okay, those are what we're looking for here. The first one says, the 12 wolves who stood with Mowgli knew him well. This is essential. This is like the brain of the sentence. We need to know which of the 12 wolves, the ones who stood with Mowgli, that really helps us understand the whole sentence. If it's just random 12 wolves, then you would probably need commas there, but you need to know this part of the sentence in order for it to make sense. So it's C. The next one, I'm gonna have Kylie do the next one. Go ahead and read the sentence and see if you can figure out what rule it is to take out the comma.
Or had grown up with Mowgli in the cave. Um,
In the cave is a prepositional phrase. That'll be a clue.
B?
Now,
I mean, no, not B. I mean A.
there's no and in there. So look for one
Okay.
that talks about the prepositional phrase, though, because remember, in the cave is a prepositional phrase here.
I hate commas.
I know.
Um,
I do too.
J.
J, there you go. Before a prepositional phrase. So if a prepositional phrase comes at the end of the sentence, you don't need a comma. So we already use, you can cross these out as we use them. That'll help eliminate those. Okay.
I was making my way through it and I already had like some of them down.
Aubrey, what about the next one? Go ahead and read the sentence first.
Mother wolf and father wolf were two more.
Okay,
Um,
good.
is it B?
It is B because you're listing two items, mother wolf and father wolf. Good. So cross out B. Jude, what about the next one? Go ahead and read it first.
Thunderclaw and Howler were grateful that Mowgli removed thorns.
Okay, I see a certain clause in there. You see one of the clauses in there
No.
after grateful?
Oh, that clause.
A that
That
clause.
clause, yeah.
The rule with a that clause at the top.
F.
Yes.
Okay.
Good, because the that clause is right here. We don't need a comma next to the that clause. Very good. Okay, and then Matt, read the next one.
Sorry. Uh, uh, Thunderclaw and how? Wait, is that it? Or no? I'm sorry. Wolfgang prized Mowgli's fishing skill and respected his intelligence.
Okay. What do you think? What rule do you think it follows up here?
Um.
I see and, which is a CC.
Uh. An I.
No, because there's no adverb clause. It's going to be a because you have a main clause. Wolfgang prized Mowgli's fishing skill. That's a main clause. And there's that CC. Um, sorry. And respected his intelligence. So respected is the second verb. So it's actually a.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one, Alex, go ahead and read it first.
During one debate, several wolves said Mowgli would protect them. Mowgli.
That's okay. I don't know. Mowgli. Which one do you think it is?
G.
G, yes, it's a number 2 opener with less than 5 words during one debate. Very good. Okay, and remember, if we cross it out, we don't need it anymore, so that eliminates some of them. So Ian, are you there? I see you here, but I don't see your face. Okay, read the next one right here and tell us what rule it is.
Uh, Accurately, Mowgli could grasp man's thinking.
So what do you think is, you have D, E, H, and I left. Look at the opener here. H, good. Yes, it's an opener. It's a number 3 opener. Very good. And you don't need, when it modifies the verb, because remember that test we did a while back that said it was accurate that Mowgli could grasp man's thinking. If that works, then it's modifying the noun. Okay. Next one for Kylie.
Now I really hate commas. Oh my gosh.
I know. Well, you've got only a few left, so
I only got
yeah.
2 choices.
There's actually 3 choices.
Yeah, there's 3
I
left.
already got the bottom one.
Oh, you got the bottom one. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read this one.
Silver enjoyed the sport, although she couldn't hold Mowgli's stare. I.
I think so. Yes, it is I.
Yeah.
I is MCAC because although is your adverb clause. Yep.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I guessed.
Well, the other option was cumulative adjectives, but there wasn't more than one adjective listed. So, all right, look at the next one. Aubrey. Oh, did she just? Oh, there you are. Are you there? Hello? Something's happening.
There we go. Fang and admired how quickly the hairless young cub learned. Is it E?
It is E. Those are cumulative, hairless, and young. So hairless is, I think that would be an opinion actually, and then young is age. So opinion comes before age. And then the last one, Jude, what's the last one? Go ahead and read it and then tell us which one it is.
Wow, you can distinguish an owl's hoot, she told Mowgli. Strong, that's the last option.
Yeah, D. I like how you read that so sarcastically. That's perfect. All right, good job, you guys. And back to this one, I got to explain this one real quick. This is the one, if it only modifies the verb, it's telling how he grasped the man's thinking accurately. So when it only modifies the verb and not the rest of the sentence. Earlier, I said it was accurate that Mowgli could grasp the man's thinking. That doesn't really work, actually. So I needed to re-explain that. It's only modifying, it's telling more about the actual verb, not the whole sentence. All right, enough of that. Um, don't forget, as we're going to the practice page here, don't forget to turn in your grammar homework. Some of you are forgetting to do that. That is part of your 10 points. So, I really want to see your grammar homework, and it should be corrected, whether or not your parent wants you to correct it or if they correct it. It doesn't matter to me as long as they know you're doing it if they want you to. But make sure it's corrected and uploaded to your homework because some of you are forgetting that part. So make sure you do that. Okay. How about Matt? Go ahead and read the sentence for us. Sentences.
As warm, salty tears poured down his cheeks, he was confused and he cried for help. Oh, Bagheera, what was this witness? Is he dying?
Okay,
What
good.
was this wetness? Is he dying?
Yeah, it's a weird sentence, huh?
Yeah.
You did good reading it. We'll fix it. So confused, we know what that means. Unable to understand something. So that's vocabulary. Confused. We get confused over commas, huh, Kylie? We know
All the time.
all the time, right?
I hate commas. They're my least favorite thing in grammar.
I feel you. Mine too. And I typically just put a comma in if I don't know, but that's not always a good rule of thumb to do it that way. So anyway, we've got a coordinating conjunction. So let's see, Alex, where's the coordinating conjunction? We'll start with that.
And
That was easy. You got the easy one. Let's come back to prepositional phrases. I like to jump.
Dang it!
Yeah, really? Okay, Kylie, where are they? I'll let you do it.
Down his cheeks
All right, down his cheeks.
and for help.
And for help. All right, then. There you go. Thank you for that. Ian, how about let's jump down to the verbs. Where are the verbs at?
Um, poured down.
Poured. That's one.
Cried.
Yeah.
Dying.
Actually, yes, dying is one. You're right about that. There's a couple others that we need to fix though. So they're like the wrong tense, but
Was.
yeah, so was because he's speaking right here, it's tricky. Was this wetness? Is he dying? See how they don't match? It's was and is. So we need to move this, change this to is actually. And then you're right, that is a verb. That is a helping verb or linking verb actually. Is this wetness? And then he says, is he dying? But he's talking, right? So instead of is, it should be am I? am I dying because he's talking here? That's going to help you guys a lot. He's talking to himself, actually, basically, as he's crying. This is a very dramatic part of the story. Okay, anyway, we're getting close to the end of the story, actually. How about let's
Wait,
see.
I'm sorry. Were you talking to me?
I am now. So where are actually we forgot this one. He was confused. Where are the subjects that go with these verbs, Matt?
Bagheera,
Okay, not Bagheera.
he, and he.
He
The two
he
he's right there.
was confused and he cried. What was it that
And
poured down his cheeks? What are we talking about here?
tears.
Good, that's the subject there.
And there's another one I see at the bottom. He is dying.
Well, we changed it to I.
Okay,
I dying,
good
so
point.
I, yep. And then we have, is this wetness? This is a question. What is this wetness? So actually the subject here is the word what, because that's what they're talking about. What the question is, what is this wetness? So the subject there becomes what? All right. I think it would help us to figure out where the quote is. Let's jump over to that really quick because we got some quotation marks here. There's speaking parts. So Alex, where are the speaking parts?
Before O
Before O, there we go. O,
and after dying.
good. All the way at the end. So this is what he cried for help. That's your not your quote, but your attribution. That was the word I was looking for. Man, I'm not awake yet, you guys. Anybody else relate to that? All right, we can do this. We can do this. Okay, so this is who's speaking and how they're saying it. He cried for help. So this is the attribution and then the quote. That helps knowing that. Put a check there. Let's see, where are we at? How about Aubrey? What about the adverb clause? That's the Asia clause.
As warm, salty tears.
And keep going. As warm, salty tears, keep going.
To cheeks or down all the way to help?
Actually, to cheeks. So here's why, because if we stop at poured, then we just have down his cheeks, which is a prepositional phrase, but it doesn't belong to any of the other clauses. So it's important to know this about where the tears poured. So that makes it part of the adverb clause. So as warm, salty tears poured down his cheeks, that's the adverb clause. Good. And then we've got main clauses. Jude, what about the main clauses? There's
He was confused.
4 of them. Yep, he was confused as one.
He cried for help.
Good. He cried for help.
What was this wetness?
Good. Yes. Excellent.
Is he dying?
Yeah. Or am I dying? Actually,
Oh,
change
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
didn't read that right.
That's okay. But you got it. That's really good. Because we did not include O Bagheera because Bagheera is a noun of direct address. So that's who he's talking to. Okay. Who's talking, by the way? I didn't remember what happened right before this. I forget. Let me look back.
Mowgli.
Is it Mowgli?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Something being hurt inside and blurted out. So basically, Mowgli's dying. Is that what's happening here?
He thinks he's dying.
Or he thinks he's dying. But he's talking to Bagheera. Okay.
He
Those
wakes up and it's just water.
it's just water. Don't give away the ending. I can't remember how this thing ends.
No, it doesn't go that way. I'm just
Oh, you're just making up your own alternate ending?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the opener? Let's see. Alex, what do we got as an opener here?
Number 5,
Number 5, which is what?
the causal.
Good. Clausal. Indent, we'll just stick that in there. 3 capitals, those are easy. You can find those by yourself. Oh, well, we need to add some punctuation in here. We've got 3 end marks. Let's jump down to that before we do all the capitals. So how about the end marks, Kylie? Where do those go?
Period after cheeks and help and dying.
Help, yes. And you said down or dying?
Dying.
Dying, yes. Okay, but it's not a period. Am I
I
dying?
mean, not why can't I think of the name? An exclamation mark?
Question mark.
I mean, mark.
You know what? It's okay. I feel the same as you right
Sorry.
now.
And a period after cheeks.
That's actually going to be a comma because you've got an adverb clause and then a main clause.
No.
So it's going to be a comma here, but we need one more punctuation down here with what he's saying.
He cried for help. Like, I mean, after.
We got one here after help, but then there's another question inside here. What is
Oh,
this
what is this wetness?
question mark? It's 2
I'm gonna
questions
have to
in a
go
row.
back.
So what is this wetness and am I dying? 2 questions in a row. And then there's one, is that all the periods? Oh yeah, that's all the end marks. So we got 1 after help and then 2 question marks. Okay, got those. The commas, we need to figure out the commas. So how about you, Matt? Do you know where the commas go? We got one that we put in after cheeks. But I'll tell you, there are 1, 2, 3 more commas.
After Bagheera.
Yep, that's one. Has to do with the. Oh, go ahead. You got it?
Between wetness and
No,
is.
because that's a question mark right there. I know
Oh, okay.
yeah, my paper, but it has to do with these 2 main clauses right here. He was confused. He cried for help.
After confused.
Yeah, because there's an and here connecting 2 main clauses. You need a comma there. And then there's one more that needs to go after O. That's an interjection, but that's not a dramatic one. It's like, oh, Bagheera. It's like a kind of a sympathy word. So
Yeah.
anytime you have an interjection like that, there's a comma. And then after the noun of direct address, there's a comma. We got it. And then the capitals, you got that. Now that we figured out the punctuation here. Okay. And usage, we already fixed those 2. Yay. I always like it when we are done before we realize it. Any questions about that? That was a little tricky. So you guys have any questions about this page? Okay, because what you can do on your homework is skip it if you're not sure and then just try to come back to it. Some of you are still making kind of a lot of mistakes on your homework. So make sure you slow down and go through all those rules in your head if you can, or go back. I know we tabbed a bunch of pages on the top. Go back and check those pages. Don't just rush through your grammar, okay? Because some of you are making silly mistakes on there. So make sure you slow down enough to try to remember those rules. That's all grammar is a bunch of rules. And I know none of us like rules, but we still have to do it. Okay. Now, the fun part. So you guys did a pretty good job doing your research for your Supreme Court case. I think this is going to be kind of, I mean, for me personally, I guess I'm hoping other people agree. I think this is kind of interesting and fun to do a paper like this. Kylie, did you want to say something real quick?
You just have to copy and paste it in the thing. I
Yeah.
totally forgot how to do that and bookmark
Oh,
it. I
oh,
don't really use a computer.
are you okay? So, side note, everybody. So, are you using a laptop when you do this, or an iPad, or a desktop computer? Like, what type of a device are you using?
A computer.
Okay. So, you should be able to highlight. You know how to highlight?
Yeah.
Like when you drag across. Actually, if you just click on it. So, you know the search bar at the very, very top of your browser, like if you're on Chrome or whatever browser you're on,
Yeah.
and you go to the website and you click on it, it'll highlight it automatically for you. And then there's two ways you could do it. You can right click on your mouse with your middle finger. And then there's an option, it opens up a little option. You can like cut and paste and other things on there. I don't know if you've tried that before.
I don't have a mouse either.
So you use like a laptop with a pad, like it's you
Yeah.
use a finger. Okay, so on that you would do two finger click. That's how I did it. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You
Okay.
got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Woo! You learned something new today. I'm so excited. I am done for the day. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's so you cut or copy and paste into that document, but I think I got everybody's. It was good. You guys all did it, which I'm super happy about. I have everybody's, I printed them so I could look at them at the same time. So the first step we need to do is actually decide on which case you guys are going to do. And some of you picked the same case, but not everybody picked the same case for, like their choices. So let me explain that a little bit better. Let me ask you this. When you guys filled out that little chart, did you put your favorite pick in choice one? Or did you kind of mix them up? Because I'm hoping everybody can write about the case that you really want to write about. Okay.
I found 3 cases that I liked and put them down.
Okay. Because we want to narrow it down to one now. So, let me ask you this, and you could just show me by raising your hand. Wait, hold on. I don't know why it's giving me okay. My computer gave me like a pop-up and I was like, why is that happening? I think we're good. Let's see. Is there anyone that has a case in mind that you really, really want to write about? Like out of the ones you researched that you want to pick that case out of all of them? Does anybody have okay, Aubrey, which one are you looking at?
I want to write about the Roe versus Wade case.
Okay. And I think you're the only one that picked that one, I think. Let's see.
So close to picking that one.
You were close to? I think as far as what you guys put in your homework list, you're the only one that picked Roe versus Wade. So I'll give that one to you, okay, Aubrey? So that'll be yours. Anybody else have one that you researched that you really want to pick? Because I want to give you your first choice. And okay, I don't see any other hands going up. So let's talk about Jude's.
Wait, I think I have one.
Okay, what's yours, Ian?
Either the school district of Abington Township versus Skimp or
Okay.
Ingram versus Wright.
I know Ingram versus Wright was the one I kind of talked a little bit about where he got spanked. Yeah. What's the one? Do you remember? Did you get to read any of it yet for the one about the Abington Township? I think it's called Shimp v. Shimp.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to read a little bit about it.
Which one? What is that one about? It says First Amendment, so it must be like a freedom of speech or something.
Yeah, it's the banning of reading Bibles in schools.
Okay. All right. So yeah, both of those are going to be good picks, and nobody else, I think, has those on their list. So you can decide which one you want to write about.
I think I know which one I'm gonna do.
So let me know, Ian, when you decide. We got to decide today, okay?
Can I do Ingram versus Wright?
Yep,
Cool.
you got it. Okay, I'm gonna circle that. Matt, how about you?
I was thinking the District of Columbia versus Heller, which is one that has to do with the Second Amendment, or the school
Yeah.
board of, hang on, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Potawatomi County v. Earls, which has to
Okay.
do with the Fourth Amendment.
So you would pick one or the other because you're just going to focus on one case. Does that make
All
sense?
right.
So
I'll
the
probably do District of Columbia v. Heller.
and that one, Alex, also you had on your list. So,
That's the one that I was gonna do.
oh boy. Uh-oh. Let's see. The other idea you had, Matt, was the second choice, which was with the Fourth Commandment or Commandment
Yeah.
Amendment, Board of
School Board of
Education.
Potawatomi County v.
Yeah, it
Earls.
sounds like a Indian, an American Indian name, Potawatomi County. Potawatomi, I think is how you say it. Potawatomi.
I thought it was Italian or something.
Sounds Indian to me, like American Indian. But what was that one about? You remember?
I don't even
Fourth
remember. Hang on.
Amendment. Okay, look at that one. And hopefully you and Alex can decide. I know she was hoping to do the Columbia
I
v.
called the first one, Alex. Okay.
You guys,
The Fourth Amendment has to do with seizure, so it has to do with drug tests in schools,
mm,
and they were trying to do drug tests in schools. Where is it? Uh, it's about, is the student activities drug testing policy, which guys all students participating.
okay, read that first.
It was
Oh, go
has
ahead.
to had to do if students had to submit to drug testing, and if it's consistent with the Fourth Amendment.
Okay, and the Fourth Amendment says safeguards against unreasonable searches and seizures.
Yeah, but they
Seizures.
were, I guess, making students take a drug test. So
Okay. Would you be willing to do that one instead of
yeah, I will. I'll do it.
that's cool. Thanks, Matt. Okay. I'm circling that one for you. So, and I'm going to tell you guys this in Google Classroom, which ones you're officially doing so that everybody knows. And then Alex, you can go ahead and do the one District of Columbia v. Heller. That's the one you wanted to do? Okay, cool. And then Kylie, sorry, I know your hand was up for a while.
I think I'm gonna do the Connick versus Myers.
Okay. I think it's Koenig, maybe. Maybe it is Koenig.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's okay though.
I
Versus
just know how to spell it
Myers.
to write it in a report about it.
That is the First Amendment. What is that one about?
So this girl was gonna be transferred to a different job, like in the job system, and she was very opposed to that. But the guy fired her and stuff like that, and then she took it as like her not being able to do the freedom of speech.
Okay. Okay, you like that one? That's a pretty good
Yeah.
one. Okay, cool. Get that one for you. And then Jude, you've got a couple here. You got Oregon versus Mitchell, Ball v. United States, and then Term Limit Inc. v. Thornton. You know which one you want to pick?
I didn't really get to look over them a bunch because I just did them late last night, but I think I'm gonna do the voting age one.
The voting age. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one. I was going to suggest either that one or the right to bear arms is the Ball v. United States one. Let's see, Amendment 26. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and start with that one. And then as you're doing your research, if you're like, it's kind of boring, then let me know because you guys have to approve it through me because everyone should be writing about a different case because in the end, and our goal on the last day of school, by the way, the last day of my class is the last Tuesday in May. And you're going to be presenting your paper. Don't let that scare you because we're all friends in here, right? We've been doing this for a long time. And it's actually going to be pretty fun because the very last lesson, I'm going to teach you how to make a PowerPoint. And then you get to pick graphics and things to go with your paper. So you're not going to read your paper, but you're going to share like highlights from the paper. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm looking for with that. But it'll be interesting because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in here. And we're going to learn about 6 different Supreme Court cases.
What if I'm sick on that day?
I will come find you, Kylie. I know where you live. No,
We
it's,
were actually
it's
driving.
gonna be good. What?
That's not creepy.
Right?
We were driving through Tehachapi the other day.
Oh, cool. That's nice up here. We love it, huh, Kylie? Best place on earth.
Or
Actually
by
had,
Tehachapi.
yeah, we actually had some snow on Sunday. Just a little bit.
Cool.
We might get more snow. It's crazy, huh?
But we had like a thunderstorm.
Yeah. I think Bakersfield did too that day. Okay, so now you got your cases and thumbs up if you know what your case is, at least for today, you know what your case is. We just went through that list. Okay, does anybody need me to remind you? Like Matt, I don't know what you're doing right now, but you look upside down, so go ahead and fix that. And then you know what your case is, right, Matt?
Am I good? Hi, hello. Am I upside down still?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Now,
Yep.
yep,
Yeah, I'm gonna do
you got your case.
just Pottawatomie County versus Earls.
Okay. And then Ian, you know what case you've got?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay. It's really important for you guys to know which one you're doing. And like I
I'm
said,
doing the,
go
I'm
ahead.
doing the one where the kid gets paddled, right?
Let me double check here. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are. Do you guys know why he got paddled, by the way?
No.
For being late to school. That's gonna be a good one, Ian. That's perfect for you. I can't wait to read your paper on that because
He
there's
got
a lot
sent to
of
the hospital for being late.
yeah, it's really bad. Go ahead and get out a line piece of paper. We're gonna take some notes here. This is why I like this assignment because you guys are going to learn real cases. These are real cases that have actually gone all the way to the Supreme Court. And whatever decision was made there affected our laws now and it affected our nation. So it's how this government system works. And you're going to see a little bit about this part of our system, which is the judiciary system. And it's pretty cool to see how the whole process goes. But I'm going to have you take some notes right now. Go ahead and put your name. Today's date is 4/29. And we're going to talk about where you're going in this paper. So let's just put research paper. This is basically the order and how we're going to do your paper. And let's put Supreme Court case here. Supreme Court case. Skip a line, Roman numeral 1. And we're not going to actually build your outline here, but I'm just going to give you a layout of what you're going to do for this paper. So Roman numeral 1 is going to be your introduction. And aside from the fact that your introduction has attention getter, it restates all of your topics and there's background information in it. Aside from all those that we already know about the introduction, it is going to include something called a thesis statement. And a thesis statement is a sentence, one sentence that tells exactly what your paper is about. And it actually gives a little clue as to what's coming on how to explain it. So it's a very, very important sentence that we're going to really fine tune. We're going to play with that sentence a lot until we get it exactly the way we want it. I know it sounds funny to do that with one sentence, but that's how important this thesis sentence is. And we're going to do that toward the end. Once you get a real grasp of where your paper is going, then you'll be able to draft that thesis statement. So in the introduction, you'll include that thesis statement. Go ahead and skip a line, and we're just going to do the Roman numerals through this. Roman numeral 2 is going to be the first body paragraph. You guys know about those now. And this is going to be all about the amendment. So this is where you're going to say what amendment was used in the Supreme Court case. And what you're going to do is you're going to give a definition. Oops, definition, if I can spell it right. And origin. That means where did it come from and how did it get added to the Constitution? Because I remember telling you last week, those first 10 amendments are the Bill of Rights, and then beyond that are just added amendments over the decades to kind of fine tune what the Constitution's goals are. And as we look at those amendments, like we did last week, there were certain events in history, like when there was an issue with slavery, before it was banned. And then they banned slavery. And so they made an amendment to the Constitution because when the Constitution was originally written, slavery was allowed. It was considered legal. So in our nation's history, there's big marks in time when things shifted as far as politically, as far as with the government. And so as those things shifted, they added amendments to make it more clear in the Constitution and more applicable to now, basically. So in this paragraph, you're going to define the amendment and the origin of the amendment. Then we're going to go to number 3. And this is where we're going to talk about one side of case. And in this side of the case, I'm going to put that word plaintiff. And if you know anything about the court system, the plaintiff is the person who is doing the suing, okay? They're usually mad or they feel wronged by something like, okay, we'll just use that example from the kid that got spanked, right? So the kid's parents, you can imagine, as your parents would be, this is wrong, that's cruel punishment for being late. And so they were mad, so they sued the school. So that's the plaintiff. The person who sues, who's doing the suing, is called the plaintiff. So you'll explain why all of a sudden there's a case, because it starts here, right? Somebody's mad, somebody feels like they were wronged, and they're going to sue someone else or sue a school or a company or whatever, or even the state. And then the next paragraph, this is going to be paragraph 4, is going to be the other side of case, and that is called the defendant. The defendant is the person, and you can see the word defend in there. That helps us remember that. They're defending themselves. There wouldn't be a case, there wouldn't be a lawsuit if the other side was like, okay, you're right, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Here's all the money you need. Here's everything. That wouldn't be a court case, right? But there's always the other side that's like, hold on a second. There's more to the story than everybody knows, and I'm going to tell it. So if you think of, sometimes I think of football because I like football, but you have the offense and the defense, and you have that in other sports too. But the defendant or the defense is defending the goal, right? So that's what I think of is defending the goal, or defending, if it's a person, they're defending their side of the story. They're saying, no, my side of the story is the real side. I'm going to defend myself. So you got the person suing and the one being sued, basically. So when you look at these websites, and you might have to find other websites that fit those two categories when we get to that part better, because you want to show one side of the case and you want to show the other side, because whoever's reading this, you don't want to give away the punchline. You don't want to give away who won until the very end, because then it makes it much more easy, enjoyable, or interesting to read it that way. So then number 5, that's going to be the result of the case. This is where you give that punchline. What happened with that case? And then you've got a number 6. And yes, we are going to do 6 paragraphs, but don't worry, we're not doing it all at once. We are going to slow down and take our time on this so that we can really get it fine-tuned here. So number 6 is going to be your conclusion. This is where you're going to express your opinion. And you're going to state that thesis statement again. So put a comma and put restate thesis and impact on USA. This is where you're going to talk about what was that impact on the USA? How did it change our laws? How did it change the way businesses do things or schools do things? So there's always going to be an impact. And we're going to talk about that in the conclusion. So this is where we're going in this paper. These are the different paragraphs. Go ahead and circle Roman numeral 2, because that is what you're focusing on this week, is just one paragraph. And then next week, we're going to pick it up a little bit. So hopefully next week, you won't have a bunch of extra homework and other classes to do, because you will have a bulk of it to do next week. But we're going to start pretty simple with just that paragraph, which is the first body paragraph. By the way, put a little bracket around these. And I want you to just put body, and we'll do the paragraph symbol with an S, because you got to the introduction and conclusion. That's at the first and last part of your paper. But the body paragraphs is the meat. It's the main part of your paper, and that's what you're going to focus on the next couple of weeks. Okay. If you can, open a new tab right now. I want you to do that on your device, or if you have a second device and you can open it up in a second device, but go ahead and go to Google. And let me share my screen here. And I put this already on your Google Classroom so you can see what the homework is going to be this week. You're going to go to a website called Constitution Center, no dot or anything, .org at the end, but Constitution Center, all one word, .org. This is a great resource, and you're going to add this to your list of resources. So you want to bookmark this page or this website, because you're going to use this in your paper for this paragraph you're working on this week. So if you're on there right now, I'll walk you through this. I'm actually recording this class so you guys can like fast forward to this part of the class, and then you can see what to do here.
Constitution dot what?
It's called constitutioncenter.org. It's all one word. So constitutioncenter.org.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else need any help with that? Remember, you can hit escape on your Zoom call and it'll minimize your Zoom, and then you can access your internet.
I didn't hear you at all. You like blinked out on me.
Oh, weird. So
But I think
are you able to
got it.
with that?
I think I got it though.
Okay. Constitutioncenter.org. It looks like this. It's pretty cool. This is a website just dedicated to the Constitution of the United States. So there's a search, like a little, search thing right there, little icon, and it's going to open up this bar right here. And what you're going to type in is your amendment. So if you want to type in like for Ian's 8th amendment, type that in. If yours is, so like Jude's, yours is 26th amendment. Kylie's is 1st amendment. Alex, 2nd amendment. Matt is 4th amendment. Aubrey's, I don't have it on here. Do you know what amendment yours is, Aubrey? For Roe v. Wade. And then Ian's is 8th.
Give me a sec.
I can't find my way out for some reason. I went out and then forgot the website name and came back, and now I can't get back out.
Of the Zoom call, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, try the escape button on your keyboard, ESC at the upper left.
Okay.
That works.
There we go. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. You're welcome.
Site called one more time.
It's called constitutioncenter.org. In fact, I can put it in the chat if you guys need help with that too. I'll just stick it in there. Constitutioncenter.org. I'm going to mute you, Jude, while you're doing that, but let me know if you need help though, okay? Or that wasn't you. Sorry. I think it's Aubrey. Okay, there we go. When you get to this part of the page after you type in your amendment, you should see some options down here. Just go ahead and click on if it'll let you, click on the first option. I don't know if you guys saw me do that, but right here you can click on the actual name of the amendment. They spell it out. They might want you to spell it out in the search bar. But if I click on Eighth Amendment, it opens up a new window, tells basically in just a few words what the amendment is. But if you scroll down and you might see right here, interpretations and debate. If you see that, that's where you need to go to find more information about the actual amendment. So let me know, you guys, are you finding that? Give me a thumbs up if you found it or if anybody needs help. Okay, good. Kylie, I see that. So you're going to type in your amendment, choose
where?
the first option. Go ahead.
Where? Sorry.
It's called Interpretations and Debate. Can you see my screen right here?
Yeah.
Should have that on yours too. Aubrey?
I think it might be connected to the 14th Amendment.
Oh, okay. That sounds about right. Let me look what the 14th Amendment is.
How do you get there? Sorry.
Go to the chat. I put a link in there and that might help you, but it's called constitutioncenter.org.
No, not that. I mean, how did you get to the page you're on?
So did you go to the search bar yet?
No, I can't find it. Oh, the top one?
Yeah, there's a little magnifying glass. You see that?
Yeah, hold on. Shoot. I'll be back.
Okay, find the magnifying glass and then it'll open up a bar for you to actually type in the amendment. Any other questions? I know this is we're just going to kind of work through this together. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where I was. I searched Eighth Amendment and then I chose it here. And then there should be an option in the middle of your screen called Interpretations and Debate. If you click on that and scroll down, you're going to get basically a description of where the amendment came from, who was involved, and what the process was to get it in the Constitution. Does anybody need help finding that for your amendment? Aubrey?
Put it in and then it said no results found.
Okay, and yours is 14th? Let me try it. Okay. You might have to spell it out. I don't know why sometimes it makes you do that. That worked. Spell out 14th Amendment. Did you find it, Aubrey?
Can I go get another computer? Mine's not working right now.
Oh yeah, and you can do this later because we're almost done here. So it's okay if you can't do it right now. But after you find that amendment and click on it, like this one, I clicked on it and it just went to defining the sections of the amendment because that one's a big one. But if I kept scrolling down here, there's interpretations and debate. Read interpretations of citizenship clause, due process, equal protection clause.
I just need to type in Amendment 1.
Yeah, you can either do Amendment 1 or you can do First Amendment. You might try a few different ways of searching it. Was that you, Kylie, that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try First Amendment. Basically, what you guys are going to do is use this website for the paragraph you're writing this week. Okay, so it's really important for you to bookmark or star this page so that you can come back to it and use the information here. And you want to find information that shows how the amendment came about. And the best way to do that is common interpretation. Click around. It's called interpretation and debate. It's basically the section that tells a little bit more about that. And then I'm going to show you really quick. I know I'm going kind of fast, but we're out of time. So let me show you your actual Google assignment this week. I just put it in this morning. Right here. Can you guys see the Google Classroom right now that I'm on? Okay, thank you, Alex. So if you click on the one that's due next week, notice I put here grammar as usual, but then on the writing, I put go to the website constitutioncenter.org, search blank amendment, whichever one goes with your case, select interpretation and debate, save this page to your bookmark, use information from this page of the website to build your KWO for Roman numeral 2. And then here's your example of your outline, your KWO that you're going to work on this week. So the first part here next to Roman numeral 2, you're going to put the amendment, the number, and then a few words describing the amendment. And then it says details in 1 to 10 below include dates, origin, ratification. That means like who signed it and how it came into law. And then who was involved. You're going to use that information to fill in 1 through 8 or 10 if you need 10. Okay, don't go past 10 and don't go less than 8. And then it says, after you complete the KWO, write your paragraph. Use the checklist attached to this assignment because I gave you a checklist right here. And then you're going to upload your KWO and your paragraph to this assignment. This is your assignment this week. And you're only going to use this constitutioncenter.org website, okay, for this paragraph about the amendment. You're taking out keywords from that website, this one here, constitutioncenter.org, to fill in details about the amendment, because these amendments didn't just show up on the Constitution. It went through a big process. So you're going to kind of surf around on this website. This is a safe website to use. You can move around in it. There's no pop-ups. It's a .org. And it's pretty cool, actually, in my opinion. But you have a lot of choices here. Does anybody have any questions about what you guys are doing this week for homework? Okay, that's good. Either you guys are like, oh, I got it, or you're like, I have no idea what to ask. So hopefully you're not confused. One paragraph this week, work on the keyword outline. I want to see that too. So I want to see your keyword outline and your paragraph. The same rules apply to this paper. 3 words only on your outlines. You can use numbers and symbols and abbreviations for free, so you can figure out how to work that in. And then write your paragraph with the checklist. Your checklist has all the dress ups and the openers in there. So make sure you watch that checklist. Who remembers what a VSS is? Do you guys remember what a VSS is? Aubrey?
It's a very short sentence.
Yes. And how many words should it be, Aubrey?
I think it's 5 to 6.
2 to 5, actually. 2 to 5. So no more than 5 words. You can't have a 1-word sentence because you got to have at least a subject and a verb. So it's 2 to 5 words only. And that's on there. So make sure you include one of those in your paragraph. All right, you guys, please, okay, here's the deal, because some of you message me on Google Classroom and I don't see it right away because I have a bunch of classes. I have 70 students, so it's hard to see everybody's comments on there. If it's urgent, please ask your parent to text me because I always have my phone on me. I'll get that so much faster than messaging me through Classroom, okay? So if it's urgent and you're like, I got to do this today, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, tell your parent, have them text me, and then I'll reach out to you and we'll figure it out together, okay? But really try to get it done by next class because we're just going to keep going after that. You don't want to get behind on this part. All right, you guys. It's going to be fun. Try to see it as fun. I know it's work, but we can do this, right? It's going to be good. All right, that's it for today, you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Next week. Bye. Bye, you guys.